Good evening, everyone. My name is Christopher Gergen, your host for this evening, and I am here joined by the insubordinate one, the only constitutional conservative candidate currently running in Washington's 4th Congressional District, Mr. Loren Culp. How are you, Loren?
I'm doing great, Chris. Absolutely fantastic.
It's like I just saw you the other day.
I know. And here you are on my computer. Can't get rid of you.
I'm like a bad penny. I always turn up, you know?
Yeah.
So we've had last couple of weeks, we've had a bunch of things going on, and you've
Yes.
actually been out on the campaign trail. You've been out amongst the people in the district, not high
Absolutely.
flying around the country, you know, taking selfies with celebrities, but you actually been out there talking to we the people.
Well, yeah, that's who matters, right? That's why I'm
That's
running.
right.
It's for we the people. But yeah, we went to Yakima
Hmm.
for the rodeo down there in Yakima County,
Yep.
and OMAC up in Okanagan County,
Which was
and
very hot, I might
for the
add.
Stampede. Oh yes, yes. Jill actually ran the booth down in Yakima County, and
Yep.
you ran the booth up in Okanagan County. And yes, it was very very hot. I really, I mean, I was there a couple times a day, but you guys were there all day long. And so, I mean, kudos to you guys, you and
Well,
Jill.
to put this in the context, I live in Las Vegas, and Las Vegas is not known for being cold. And
Right.
boy, I tell you what, it was hot. It was next level hot up there in OMAC. And then they had the fires as well, which is just very
Right.
sad. We had a lot of people. In fact, I received messages from folks that I'm connected to up there in the OMAC area where, you know, people literally lost everything. One lady in particular, she has 40 acres. She and her family have 40 acres up there. The entire 40 acres burned down because this fake governor and
Wow.
the BLM don't know how to manage the forest properly and haven't in decades. Her mother
Yep.
lost everything, or their family lost everything. The only thing that was not burned to a crisp, Loren, was her trailer. They have a
Wow.
trailer out there where she can sleep and so forth. It's like a little cabin
Yeah.
type thing, and that was the only thing that they didn't lose.
Yeah.
Everything else was just
It's horrible. I mean, we talked about that all through the 2020 campaign, about managing our lands like they should, like we used to. So it's sad to see that happen again. We it's just pathetic. But after Yakima and
OMAC.
OMAC, we moved down here to Grant County and went to the Grant County Fair. Um, and it was a little bit better conditions, right? There was still smoke, but it was in an
Right.
air conditioned building.
Thank you, Jesus.
So yes, got out of the heat for a little bit.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it's just absolutely phenomenal, to see the support from we the people. You know, um, the whole time that I was in the booths, we were meeting people, shaking hands, and it just fills my heart knowing that people care about their country. They care about what happened in 2020, and I talked to a lot of people, so it's amazing the support.
And not only that, I mean, we were not only were you connecting with people and were campaign members, volunteers, reaching out to people, shaking hands, talking to folks on your behalf when you weren't there in the booth. We were able to. People were buying merch and buying swag and buying flags and buying a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
things. I think
some of those
we
hats we can't even keep in stock. It was amazing.
nope. Yep, absolutely. And I think we sold almost 200 pieces of merchandise just in those 2 weeks. Actually, 10 days. It wasn't even 2 weeks. It
Right.
was 10 days. I mean, people, you as a candidate have really just picked up where you left off last November, and it was really encouraging to see how much outpouring and support that you had. I know in debriefing with Jill and Andy that in the places that Jill was at, I think she had one person that was not supportive of you, and when you were up in OMAC with me, we had one guy want to argue with you about the Constitution.
Oh yes, thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, I'll tell that story.
Yeah, tell it. It's great. People get a kick out of it.
We were in the booth in OMAC at the Stampede, and this man came up to me, a little bit aggressive, and made a comment that you can't run for Congress. You don't live in the 4th district. And I talked to him for a little bit, found out he lives in the 5th district, and he was telling me that the Constitution says that you can't run unless you live in the district. And I told him that, you're incorrect, that the United States Constitution defines who can run for Congress. And it says that any citizen within the state that they're running in can run for Congress. And he didn't believe me. And he made a point of telling me that he's a history teacher. He said, I'm a history teacher. I know that the Constitution doesn't say that. And I said, well, it does say that. And he goes, I'll bet you money. And I said, well, he goes, I'll bet you $20. And I said, well, I don't want to bet you $20. I said, if I win and I'm correct, you buy 2 of my yard signs, donate to the campaign for 2 of my yard signs and put them in your yard. And if I lose, I'll give you $40 for dinner. And he said, okay. And we shook on it. And I didn't have my suit jacket on because it was so hot, right? And that's where I carry my pocket Constitution. So I told him, I said, I'm going to my car and I'm going to bring that Constitution. I'm going to show you. And he goes, go ahead. You can't. I'm a history teacher. It's not in there. So I went to my car. I got the pocket Constitution. I came back.
Now let me stop you right there. So he was already wrong on one account because you do live in the district.
Yeah, that was beside the point. But yes.
You do live in the district. You live in Grant County, so you do live in the district. And he was under the impression that you don't, which was what precipitated this entire argument.
Right. Yeah, I corrected him on that too, but he kept persisting that the Constitution doesn't say that. So I went out the car, got my pocket Constitution out of my suit jacket, came back to the booth, and I showed him right in the Constitution. I believe it's the first section, the second article. Anyway, read it to him, and like most liberals, they don't want to believe what they read. And he kept telling me, well, that's not true because most people believe you have to live in the district. And he goes, but you do live in the district. But the Constitution, everybody believes that it's not that way. I said, well, that doesn't matter. It's in the Constitution. And he finally, we went around and around for maybe 5-10 minutes. And finally, he relented. And he said, well, Loren, my wife would kill me if I put your sign up in my yard. So I let him off.
And then he stormed off.
After he ran out of. Yeah, I told him. I said, "Well, I don't want your wife to kill you," and then he left.
Right.
So
we had some great events. It's great events, great times. Going back to November. Let's kind of open this discussion up. Going back to November, you never conceded all the way through January. We filed the lawsuit in December. All the things with Bob Ferguson's office transpired. All the things with the Democrat Party threatening our attorney transpired. All the things with the legislature filing that bogus piece of legislation to lock down any evidence as not admissible. That all went down. And then, we were just kind of left in no man's land looking for a way that we can get an audit, which is why you are fully supporting Representative Sutherland Representative Bruck and Representative, I think it's Kraft, Representative Young, different representatives, Republicans, all of them, by the way, all very good people in the legislature. And at some point you started thinking about Congress. Why did you make the decision to run for Congress?
Well, multiple things. I mean, after our very successful grassroots campaign, that literally it became a movement all across the state. I couldn't just walk away, like I've seen so many other candidates do in the past. I'm a fighter and I had to stay in the fight. And I loved seeing all of the patriots that stood with me all through that campaign. It was incredible. And when I saw Newhouse vote alongside Nancy Pelosi to impeach President Trump, I started to look closer. And after his vote aligned with her and the other socialists from to impeach Trump, and from the January 6th Commission, when he voted along with them again to hold the January 6th Commission, I was pretty angry. And I was talking with the friends and family, looking over his voting record, which, by the way, is not very conservative, despite what he wants us to believe. And I was pretty close to making a decision whether to take him out or not, when I got a call from the Grant County Republican Chairman, Mike McKee. And Mike, who I consider to be a friend, called me. And I think this was like in March or April, and said that he and the other county Republican chairs in the 4th District were looking for someone credible to take on Newhouse, and asked if I was going to run. And that's pretty much what helped me pull the trigger and make the decision, especially after looking at his voting record and the fact that he voted those 2 times with the Socialist Democrats. So that's how that decision came about.
Well, that's fantastic. And I know that there was all of the chairs, and I don't want to overstate this. I believe that it's all of the chairs collectively in the 4th Congressional District came together and voted to censure Mr. Newhouse for his vote of impeachment specifically. And, I just don't understand. The 4th Congressional District, ladies and gentlemen, is the most conservative district in the state of Washington. Not by a little bit, but by a lot. Yeah. And, for him to make that move, it really, when he came out, Mr. Culp, he said that he had to vote his conscience, because a lot of people called him and were like, "What's the deal?" And he said, "Well, I had to vote my conscience." And that's the thing, as an elected public servant, a phrase that you like to use all the time, which is constitutional. It's frankly the way it's supposed to be said. Mm-hmm. They're supposed to vote the will of the people. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, and the will of the people is the Constitution, and it's an impeachment is for high crimes and misdemeanors. And President Trump said to peacefully and patriotically go let your voices be heard. He did not incite, and evidence is coming out now. The FBI said there was nothing organized that happened that day. And if your conscience is telling you that you need to vote with Nancy Pelosi, then you need to recalibrate your conscience. Your compass 100%. Probably doesn't point true north.
100%. So now that you're in the race, things have been going well. You've been on the trail, just getting ramped up. We've still got a year before the primary, right? So there's a lot of time, 15 months until the general. As we sit right now, what would you say are the top 3 issues facing not only Washington state and Washington voters, but also America as a whole?
I believe, and I've talked to a lot of people, we just talked about all the events that we were at. And I think that the number one issue is election integrity. And I believe so strongly that election integrity is the number one issue because I've talked to a lot of people, and it is a number one issue to them too. We have to have that integrity in elections. And if a candidate or someone that is in office, if election integrity isn't their number one issue, then you need to find someone else to support or to take over that office. If we don't have election integrity, then we don't have a country, period. So that's number one issue. The second issue is government overreach, whether it's stomping on citizens' rights, not following the Constitution, or overregulation. It all stems from our public servants not following the rule of law, the Constitution, and respecting citizens' rights. When it comes to the federal government, which is the office I'm running for, the 10th Amendment has to always be at the forefront. What's not written in the Constitution is left to the states and the people. And the third thing right now is the complete and total failure of our current commander-in-chief, who is nowhere close to acting like a commander-in-chief unless it's in a Saturday Night Live skit or something, right? I mean, with our open borders and then the failed execution of the Afghanistan pullout, I mean, it's very clear to everybody that the United States has no leadership. He needs to impeach. Talk about something that's impeachable. It's a disgrace what's happening right now. And I lived through Jimmy Carter years when he was president. And let me tell you what, as bad as Carter was, Joe Biden makes him look like a saint. Biden, he's totally responsible for a complete and utter failure of pulling out of Afghanistan. How hard is that? The Boy Scouts could organize a better pullout. What's happening over there, it just shows extreme weakness to the rest of the world. And it betrays our allies. Even Great Britain, the parliament, for the first time, as far as I know, they passed an order of contempt against Joe Biden. They are one of our closest allies. Imagine what our more distant allies are thinking. Imagine what our enemies are thinking. Look at how the Taliban's running over that whole country now. America looks weak because he is weak. Now, if you're wondering what all that has to do with my race here in Washington State, it has a lot to do with it. After our sitting congressman voted against the America First policies of Donald Trump, voted to impeach Donald Trump, and then stood shoulder to shoulder with nasty Nancy Pelosi and the other socialists and communists in Congress to convene a January 6th commission where America First patriots and Trump supporters would be branded as domestic terrorists. I mean, does anybody out there really believe that our congressman would fight back against the Democrat majority in the Biden and Harris administration? I mean, the bottom line is, to everybody watching this, the question is, do you trust the sitting congressman in Washington's 4th Congressional District to represent your interests, the interests of your family, and the interest of our nation? And if the answer to those questions is no, then my name's Loren Culp, and I'm running for Congress to remove and replace this weak, spineless, America Last Republican traitor who represents us now. I stood up for citizens when I had nothing to gain and everything to lose, and I will do the same thing as an elected public servant in Washington, D.C. And I know I got off on a little bit of a rant there, but it kind of pisses me off. So,
Loren, it pisses a lot of people off, if I can use that term. Who am I kidding? I'm a little salty. But
you're a sailor.
I am.
Us Army guys have a little more decorum.
Yeah, exactly. No, not me. Picture up on the wall over my shoulder. I guess this shoulder over here. That's proof I was a sailor. But Loren, when we were specifically in Grant County, we had a huge number of people. I mean, just an enormous number of people come to our booth. Mm-hmm. Everyone, and as in not excluding anyone, everyone was mad about how Representative Newhouse betrayed, and that was the word that we heard most often, betrayed voters And I mean, if I heard it once, I heard it 50 times. I will never vote for Dan Newhouse ever again. I can't wait to support you for Congress. We heard it multiple times, over and over and over. How can we be involved? How can we be a part of what you guys are doing here? And that was very encouraging. And I think the voters aren't stupid.
Nope.
I know that's the narrative of the left, that, you know, voters are dumb and people are stupid and blah, blah, blah. Voters are not dumb. Not at all.
Well, apparently there's a bunch of rhinos in the Republican Party that think they're stupid too, but no, we're not.
No, absolutely not. We the people have this on lock, especially now that all of this stuff is coming out. And really since 2015, 2016, when Mr. Trump really started to speak the truth and truth to power, that people started to wake up. And then the just absolute atrocity that was Congress for the 4 years he was president, I think woke a lot more people up. And now you have a voting now with this voter fraud that was national. It's the cow's out of the gate. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's running on up the road. There's no way to get that thing back. And so I think this is going to be a very interesting race. I'm excited that you asked me back to be a part of it. I know that there's a lot of supporters that supported you for Congress, or supported you for governor. We heard that multiple times. I voted for this guy for governor. I can't wait to vote for him for Congress. We hear that, all the time. We're really excited about that. We've got supporters, or you have. Go ahead, sir. Sorry.
The support is, it's very humbling to me, to go to an event or stand in the booth at a fair and have one person after another, sometimes crowds around the table of people that are as pissed off as I am. That's empowering. It's humbling, but it's empowering at the same time to know that everybody knows what's going on. There's no hiding anymore. I've said it a lot of times. President Trump tried to drain the swamp, right? He did drain it a little bit, but not all the way. But he got the water down low enough to where we know who the swamp creatures are. And I'm running against one. So I want everybody out there to know that I really appreciate the support, the handshakes, the hugs. It's amazing. And
so before we go on
do this.
Before we go on to the next question, there's another funny story I'd like you to share with the people. So one of our competitors in this race, who shall go unnamed, decided that he wanted to show up at our booth at Grant County and wanted to troll you while you were there. And what can you share what happened in that situation?
Well, I don't really know. I don't know why he came over to our booth. But he walked up to the booth, and I was talking to people, just walked up and said hi. I shook his hand and said hi. And then some people who had just bought a hat came up and asked me to autograph their hats for them, and I did. And then there were some pictures that people wanted to take with me, and I don't remember even saying anything. He didn't ask me anything or say anything. He just a few minutes later, he just walked away. I don't know why he came over, what he wanted, but
it's so, if I may. So Campaign 101, ladies and gentlemen, if you are ever running for public office, do not go over to your opponent and try to troll them. It's highly disrespectful. And especially don't do it to Mr. Culp, because you're going to get embarrassed by, kids running up, wanting autographs, and then a mob of people running up, wanting to buy shirts and hats and signs and stuff. So that was actually one of the kind of the highlights towards the end of the event. It was very funny.
If he was coming up to me to let me know that he was dropping out and going to support my run, he should call us or email.
100%.
That'd be awesome.
Absolutely. Put out a video. You got a lot of support all over the state. When are you, including the West Side, when are you going to be going back out to the West Side of the state?
I just found this out yesterday. But I was invited to go to the west side, Skagit County, and I'm going to this Sunday afternoon. I'll be in Skagit County for the public hearing on election integrity. It's from 4 to 7 p.m. this coming Sunday. It's being put on by the Skagit County chairman, Republican chairman, Bill Brutch. And check the Skagit County Republicans website for the details. But we're going to be up in, I believe it's in the Bow area, Skagit County, close to Mount Vernon, 4 to 7 p.m. And they're going to, there's been forums like this before but they mostly focused on the national race, on President Trump's numbers. I'm told that this is going to be very specific to Washington State and the governor's race for 2020. So a lot of good information going to come out. Like I said, check the Skagit County Republicans website for the details of where that's at. But I will be there this Sunday, 4 to 7.
Now, if a statewide audit did happen, this is a question that we got a lot of, Loren, on just over the last couple of weeks. You fully support the audit. You support those efforts. If a full audit statewide is done and it proves that you won, and then it gets adjudicated legally that you were the winner, that you are the winner, and that they want you to take office as governor, are you going to go to Olympia?
I was asked that at the fair this last weekend, and whether that happens or not, that's irrelevant. We need to know what happened in this election, because there was a lot of things that weren't done right. Whether that ends up being the case or not, I don't care. I just want to know. I want everybody to be confident that their vote counts. So if it is overturned and I was elected governor, then like I told the people over this weekend that asked me, I said, I'm going to pack my stuff and move to Olympia.
That's pretty definitive, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't get any more clear than that. A lot of fear out there, a lot of panic. Governor Inslee is doing everything he can possibly do to honestly screw things up. I don't, just when you think that this guy can't get any more dumb or reckless, he again proves us wrong. People are really afraid of losing their careers over the jab.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are reaching out for advice and so forth. What advice do you have for the folks out there?
I got asked that a lot over the last few events that we had too. And my answer is, don't put anything in your body that you don't want in your body. We've all got to make decisions in our lives. And it's a shame that we have a government that thinks that it can tell you what to do when it comes to your health care. It's pathetic. We're Americans. And sometimes we just need to learn the word no. And hell no. I've said this before. But whatever you decide, don't quit your job. Make them fire you if that's what they're going to do. If you have a religious or health objection or any other objection like freedom, then stand up for yourself and don't back down. It's scary. It's scary standing up for yourself, standing up for your rights sometimes. I know. I was standing alone back in 2018 as the first law enforcement executive in Washington State to tell the Attorney General and the governor that I would not enforce 1639. Because I took an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution, and I meant it. I didn't care if I got fired. I was doing what was right, and sometimes that's all that matters, right? The rest will take care of itself. But we have to stand up for ourselves. If we don't stand up for ourselves, then, how can we even say that we are deserving of what our founders fought for? Look what they stood up against. A governor making declarations is not law. Our founders stood up against the King of England and all of his soldiers. That was law. He was a dictator. He made law by whatever he said. The governor doesn't make law. So Think about what our founders went through. If you do not believe that the government should be telling you what to put into your body, then tell them no and stand your ground. It can't get any plainer than that.
You know, one of the things when I was in school, when I was a younger man, well, and even today, I don't like bullies. And, you know, I kind of grew up in a situation where I had to stick up for myself. I was a little more feisty when I was younger than I am now. Now I fight back still, but just in different ways than physical. But if you don't stand up for you, no one else is going to stand up for you. And you are the first person that needs to stand up for yourself. And you know what? If you take it on the chin, then fine. But you've got to stand up for you. And yes, people like Mr. Culp, people like myself, other patriots, other friends are you know, they're going to support you. But at the end of the day, you got to stand up for you. And
you know what I found out, Chris? When you stand up and you're right, that empowers other people to stand up with you. That is so clear to me, it's not even funny. But even if you stand alone, do what's right. Do what's right for you. Right. Do what's right for your family.
100%. Absolutely.
Yep. So go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so we're going to transition now. Mr. Culp's going to be taking questions. So this is kind of like a virtual meet and greet here where, you know, Mr. Culp wants to answer your questions. So if you guys could jump in the comments. I see a lot of comments already, a lot of thumbs up, Loren. So if you want to ask questions specifically pertaining to this race against the sitting congressman, I would encourage you guys to jump in there and ask those questions. And
while I do that, because I can look through the questions right now. I'll try to find some. Would you have information to give an update on where we are with the campaign, number of donors, things like that, things we got planned over the future, let people know what's going on? And I'll look for some questions.
Awesome. So we since I came aboard, it's actually, Loren, I don't know if you can believe this, but it's been 2 years since I flew out to Spokane, and you and I sat down with Mrs. Belzer and we went over your gubernatorial run. It's been 2 years in August.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's flown by. So I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, from the time that I started working on the ground, and, you know, November of 2019 forward, every single month, Mr. Culp and his organization has grown in financial support all the way through the November election. There was not one month where we had less financial support than the month prior. Now, as a candidate and somebody that runs campaigns, that is a sign of undeniable strength and undeniable popularity, and it showed, frankly, in all of the voting in August, and we believe also in November. In this campaign, Loren, so we started right around May 1st. You made the announcement April 22nd, but starting May 1st, every single month that we have been in this campaign, that trend has continued. You have more support this month already than you had last month, more support that month than you had the previous month, more support that month than you had the previous month. And so that trend is continuing. And the majority of voters, Mr. Culp, are not even paying attention to this race yet. I can't tell you how many people we had come up and say, oh, wow, I didn't know he was running for Congress. God, I voted for him for governor. I can't wait to vote for him now that I know he's running for Congress. We have, to date, ladies and gentlemen, over 1,000. So since May 1st, we have over 1,000 individual contributions into this campaign.
That's amazing.
Almost all of them are small dollar campaigns or small dollar contributions.
Mm-hmm.
These are people that want to vote Culp again. And this is one of the numbers that I look for to see strength in in clients of mine, and specifically in your race. Is, are we continuing to move forward? Over 1,000 individual contributions in just over 3 months is absolutely astounding. We have run no Facebook ads. We're not hitting nationwide Facebook ads. We're not running any of that stuff. 99% of this money and this support is in state and specifically in district. So a big shout out to you on that, and to all of our supporters. Thank you all very much. Thank you all very much for your continued support. If you haven't contributed yet and you would like to, head on over to culpforcongress.com, hit that donate button, and get on the team. We really do appreciate you guys. Speaking of team, Loren, we've added a couple members to our team. Social media, we've got Jill and Andy that are fantastic. They've done great work.
They're incredible, both of them.
Yeah, they're unbelievable people. They're of the highest caliber. I'm excited to be working with them. We've got some of our old team back. Miss Shannon Hall's out there on the west side. She's fantastic. She's one of the best human beings. She's one of the best human beings I know. She's great.
Yeah. And her daughter is my personal bodyguard too.
That's exactly. I think how old is she? 10?
All the way through the governor's race.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Yes. Awesome. And then we've got Keith Tacker and his lovely wife, Beth, who drove all the way out from the west side. And Candy and George also are back on the team from the prior campaign. We've added a new young lady named Courtney, who is going to be working in our social media and digital space. She is amazing. She brings with her a wealth of knowledge and understanding on that front. So we're putting it all together, ladies and gentlemen, and we still got some holes to fill. So if you would like to volunteer, you like to get involved, you feel like this is something that you would like to do, reach out to the campaign. Info@culpforcongress.com. Info@culpforcongress.com. Let us know that you'd like to volunteer. We would love to find a spot for you. This year, a lot of meet and greets. Loren's going to be very busy in September and November. I'm sorry, I skipped one. September, October, on into November, and then we head into the holidays. Next year, I don't know, Mr. Culp, do you think these folks like rallies?
I don't know. Did anybody like rallies in the 2020 election? Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
They came out.
I love rallies. They love rallies.
Everybody
you get a rally.
Rallies.
We got a rally. Everybody gets a rally.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was great. And we've already been in the planning stages of some really big stuff. We can't go smaller than we went last time, so we're just going to have to go bigger. We're going to do some really amazing things with this, with these rallies that we start to put on, and we ultimately want to help we the people to start a grassroots fire, not literally, but figuratively, across the state, to where conservatives are emboldened, that conservatives are strong, they're encouraged, and we start to take the fight to our enemy. And I'm going to use that word, Mr. Culp. I know it's a strong word and it's not a bipartisan word, but I mean, I'm not really a bipartisan guy. I'm not either. Guy.
I'm not either. Bipartisan is walking towards the Democrat socialism.
Yep. And I'm not a socialist or a communist. So we are going to have tremendous opportunities for you guys to come out, have a great time, and eat some great food, listen to great music, hear great speakers, and just have a good time. Organize, gather amongst yourselves. So that's it. So
let me comment on this. Rocky said, I won't be voting anymore. Steal from me once, shame on you. Give you the opportunity to steal from me twice, shame on me. Why aren't we forcing the 2020 elections? We need Culp to clean up this mess. Okay, Rocky, that's what I just talked about. Is happening this Sunday in Skagit County. I think that they're going to live stream that. Go to the Republican website for Skagit County and get the details on that. If you can't be there in person, it will be most likely live streamed. But the thing is, if we stop voting, then they've won.
That's
if
right.
we stop voting, then they've won. We need to vote. We need to vote at every election, every chance that we can. The truth will come out. The truth always comes out. It might not be in our timeline, but it is going to come out. And we need to make sure that everyone votes. Everyone that is a legal citizen of the United States of America needs to fill out their ballot and vote. And the thing about a statewide race, it's a lot easier to have some funny business in it. But on smaller races like congressional districts and county commissioners, city council, things like that, it's a lot harder to play games, shall we say, in elections. So it's easier to keep an eye on smaller areas. So I've said it many times, statewide race, yeah, until we get the voting squared away in a few counties on the west side and the rest of the state and find out exactly what happened, yeah, forget about it. But local races, congressional races, the smaller districts, it's easier to keep track of what's going on. So don't fall for their plan. They want all of the conservatives to stay home. Don't vote. So we have to let our voice be heard. And it will get squared away. The truth will come out. It is coming out. So make sure you check the Skagit County Republican website.
We cannot abandon, Loren, the down ballot. And that was one of the things that I really enjoyed about you as a candidate and working with you as a candidate is that, you know, some candidates that I've worked with in the past don't really care about anybody outside of their race, right? And as you were running for governor, you know, you always shared your platform with down ballot people.
Yeah, exactly.
And that trend will not change. Got to support these down ballot people. I mean, the politics that really, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, affect you are your water board races, your city council races, your commissioner races, your school board races. These are the races that really, really affect you. Not to say that the others don't, but these are the ones that really hit you, hit you hard on a local level. So do not abandon those candidates. They need you. They need your financial support. They need your vote. They need your hands and feet to get out there and help them hit doors, make calls, do whatever it takes to win. So don't abandon those down ballot folks. That's where this war is won.
And I'm probably, I'm open to the idea of endorsing, which I didn't do last election. But I'm looking into doing some more endorsing of, county commissioners and city council, school board, that type of thing. Because it's very important to get the word out about these people in these more local races, because that's where a lot of decisions are made. The best government is the government that's closest to we the people. And that's the county commissioners, state legislators, city council. So that's kind of how I feel about that.
100%. So let's get into some of these questions, Mr. Culp.
I've been putting some comments up there. Haven't seen a question.
So Shannon Lester asks, is this event on Sunday or Saturday? I found something on Saturday from 4:30 to 7 at Sidra Willie. Yeah. Is this the same event? So there might be some confusion on the dates.
Yeah, I had it. Let me see here. I'm on their website right now on my phone, and it says Sunday, August 29th.
Okay.
4 to 7.
Is there a phone number that we can put up there?
Probably not going to be able to read that.
Yeah, no.
But if if people go to SkagitRepublicans.com, SkagitRepublicans.com, they can find the information there.
Our good friend Patricia out in Ponderay County, she is also involved in the party, or at least has been. She's saying that it is Sunday evening.
Yep. I'm looking right at their website, and everybody's invited. Public's invited, and like I said, unlike some that have happened in the past, this is going to be specific to Washington State.
Right.
So talking about specifically this state, not the national election. So it's going to be some good information. And I know that Skagit County and Snohomish County especially are working very hard canvassing and going out and knocking on doors and seeing if the people who say that they voted from there are really there. So a lot of things are coming out. We cannot give up. Like I said before, the truth always comes out. And I have a message for anyone out there that either works in elections or knows something that happened. This is the same thing that I told witnesses when I was a detective and I was interviewing people. You can either be a witness to what happened, or you can be a criminal along with the people who did it. The choice is up to you. But the truth will come out. And when it does, do you want to be standing there saying, well, I was afraid to say anything? Can't be afraid.
Yep.
Got to do what's right all the time.
Yep. Not some of the time, all the time.
Yep.
Let's see. We've got a couple things here. Asked if we're going to come to Centralia. Centralia is not necessarily in the district, but you know what? If there's enough people out there in Centralia that want to rally next year, then I'm not opposed to going down to Centralia.
Yep. We can get out and support other candidates as well, in different areas.
So the Republicans this week, Loren, this last Saturday, rather, voted to formally endorse Tiffany Smiley, who's running against Patty Murray for Congress or for the U.S. Senate. Have you had the opportunity to meet her, or?
Yes. I did. I was invited to be the keynote speaker in Jefferson County. I think it was about a month ago. Back in my old stomping grounds, close to Chimacum, where I went to grade school. But yeah, I met her there, listened to her speak. I like what she had to say, and I support her. We need to get the Democrats out of our Senate seats.
Yeah, 100%. I think that Mrs. Smiley is a very strong candidate to run against Patty Murray.
Yep.
And her silly tennis shoes that have been in D.C. for far too many years.
Well, I'll tell you what. There's a new mom in town.
Yeah, 100%.
Patty Murray needs to pack her stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So. Tiffany Smiley, I think, is going to be very strong. Continue to listen to things that she has to say. This is a long race, 12 more months until the primary. So, definitely, if you have the opportunity to get involved with her campaign or to reach out to her, I would encourage you guys to do that as well.
We had a question here. Are we coming to the Benton County Fair?
Okay.
I think, well, you probably know the details of this. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Susan, we reached out to the Benton County Fair because they were needing vendors. And when they heard we wanted to come be a vendor, they did not want us to be a vendor. So we're running into a little bit of resistance from the Republican Party in Benton County, specifically some of their leadership, as well as some of the apparently the people that planned this thing. So we will not be at the fair. However, we will be doing rallies there. And every time we do rallies in Benton County down there in Tri-Cities, they're always amazing and they're always big. And we always end up with more people at these events than anything anybody else does. So we're not really worried about not being at that fair. We wish we could be, but unfortunately we cannot because they did not offer us the opportunity to be there. So that's how that went down.
And as far as I'm concerned, anybody in the Republican Party that, I know there was some people in the Republican Party that did nothing but harass my campaign and me during the 2020 campaign. And I'm going to tell them the same thing now that I did then. You can either get on board or get out of the way or get run over, because patriotic Washington citizens are what matter. The party doesn't matter. Your little kingdom in your county doesn't matter. The people matter.
That's right.
If they didn't learn that in 2020, then I guess they need another lesson.
Year after year, they're going to be learning the lesson.
Apparently.
So, yep.
But that's fine. We're going to continue to do what we do, and that is go out and meet with the people.
So there's another question, Tracy down here, Tracy Ray. The reason I didn't say your second name, Tracy, is because I can't say it and I don't want to botch it. It says, will you be at the Central Washington Fair in Yakima? We're working on it. And we are working on it. We would love to be there. Any of these fairs, any place where there's people, with opposable thumbs and can fog a mirror, we want to go talk to them. We want to, Mr. Culp to shake their hands. The reason that they need to be able to fog a mirror is because as Republicans, as conservatives, we don't want dead people to vote, right? So,
we're not Democrats.
So in short, we're working real hard to get at all of these events. So,
all right. We've almost been on here an hour.
Yep.
Thank you guys for joining on here, sticking with us. And we'll see you. Do you got anything else, Chris?
No, sir. I'm good. Thank you all very much for being here.
All right. We'll see you guys next time. Take care, you guys. And don't forget about that event Sunday, Skagit County Republican website. And my website for the campaign is culpforcongress.com. Take care, you guys. God bless.
Awesome. Good night, y'all.